Hello and welcome to Keep Calm for Moms, where we talk about what it means to parent the next generation with grace and ease. I am Dr. Pamela Ellis, the education doctor, and I am CEO and founder of Compass College Advisory, where we partner with busy moms to help their teen find a college that feels like home without overpaying. The results of our firm is that 95% of our students have been admitted to their top choice colleges, and the average scholarship is $75,000. Now, are you wondering how we do that? So let me tell you, we have a proprietary framework called Keep Calm, and the CALM stands for College and Accelerated Leadership Methodology. There are 5 pillars to keep calm. It's academic, financial, social, vocational, and cultural. And we believe that the glue that holds it all together is parent engagement. And so I just am thrilled to come back again to share with you today. How many of you have been enjoying this series on how to create a college list? So just type it in the chat. Yes, you've been enjoying this series. This is part 3 of 3. And we're going to close out with the remaining 4 steps to creating that right list, that right college list for your teen. So it means that, it's a good fit all around. Because let me just share with you, even in this past year, with everything that's been going on, I had two of my students, and I'll talk about one in particular. Not only did he get into 15 out of 16 of the colleges where he applied, but he had a total of $1.8 million in scholarships. That's a purple hand clap there. That is a purple hand clap for sure. Aren't you excited to hear that? Because that lets you know that there is still so much money out there in scholarships, so many opportunities for your teen to get into the colleges of their choice. And all of those colleges that he applied to were a great fit for him. They were the right fit. And that's what made that possible. Okay, that's what made that possible. And so the same steps that I'm sharing with you around developing that right college list, those are the same steps that this student followed. Okay, so it's all possible for sure. Now, so I hope you're ready to jump back in. For the first 6 steps, please go back to review the other 2 parts that I've already recorded for you. And so we're going to just jump back in, because those first 6 steps are all around, assessing where your teen is, understanding their why, and then going through those steps of truly researching the colleges. So not just looking at pictures on the website, but researching them in earnest and finding out more from third-party sources as well as from their website. You really want to use both as opposed to only relying on one or the other. Okay, so we're going to jump right into step 7. Now, this one, oh my goodness, this one is where so many people get stuck. Okay, and so if you're helping your teen with, their college list, this is where you can really get stuck. And so this big one, this next one, number 7, is around integrating the test scores. Okay. Now, the test scores that students will need is either an ACT or an SAT. It's not both, it's not both. I mean, that's something we used to do years ago. And if you remember back in the day when you applied to colleges, you took both of them. Why? Do you know why? It's because some colleges would take only the ACT, and then there was other colleges that would only take the SAT. And so depending on which colleges you would be applying to, you would take both of them so that you could round out your list and be able to meet those application requirements. Well, here's the biggest thing that's changed. All of the colleges take either or. And so what that means is that your student can just focus on the one that's best for them. And usually most students will take it twice, and that's okay, because the first time they take it, it may not be the score that they, feel that, really reflects how much effort they put into prepping. And so they decide to take it again. And then there are colleges that will super score it, meaning that they will take the highest score from each section and recalculate their composite score, their overall score. So is this making sense? So let me know, and just type it in the chat that, yes, this is making sense. Now, if you have questions, I want you to let me know, type in your questions, because I'm all about, answering those questions that you have about this. So integrating those test scores means that you really look at how competitive your teen is for a college. Now, I might step on some toes when I start to talk about this, and I hope that's okay if I step on a few toes with this. But so many times I see parents who may not necessarily want to take into account that their teen's test scores really aren't that competitive for some of the colleges that they have on their list. And it's not about discouraging them in any way, but being realistic around just how competitive their scores are. And so if they are in a certain range and you see that, the chances of students in that range getting into the college is even lower than their overall chances for admissions at that college, then keep that in mind in terms of thinking about broadening out your list, okay? Because so many times students, they only want to look at certain colleges that are uber selective, and then they feel like, man, if I apply to more of these, then I'm going to get into one of them. And I'm like, that math doesn't work. Do you think that math works? Because I haven't known it to work. So you can apply to 15 colleges that are all under 10% admission, but it's still going to be, that percentage for each college. It's not like it's additive and that increases your chances at any one of them. So I'm trying to share it in a direct way, just so that you understand how it works and be able to manage expectations. That's the best way, is managing expectations so that, at the end of the day, your teen has options and they didn't put all of their eggs in the highly selective basket, but also looked at all of the other great colleges out there that are in that sweet spot for them, that also match with being a good fit for them and that are in range with their test scores, okay? So that's number 7, is really integrating and taking into account what those test scores are. So are you still with me on this? So let me see you type in yes. And certainly if you're not still with me, please type in your question so that we can get it answered. And you can really, jumpstart this and make a difference with supporting your teen's success with their college list. So number 8 is going to be doing campus visits. Now, there is an option to do virtual visits. And then more and more colleges are offering in person as well. And my hope is that the virtuals continue, because that's a good first one to do if you're not, if you don't really have the bandwidth to travel a distance. Getting to know them virtually is definitely a great way to do it. And I know sometimes, students like to say, oh, the campuses aren't open yet for in person, so I'm not going to do it. It's like, no, there are plenty of wonderful virtual options, some wonderful virtual options. You almost feel like you're there. Like, for example, Tulane in New Orleans, I mean, they had guided virtual tours. So there was students on campus who were doing the tours live. And so it was almost as if you were there. They had interviews, they had the admissions sessions, informational sessions, and panels, all kinds of events that were done virtually. And another school that was doing it was University of Southern California. And so no excuse. There are some amazing opportunities to do virtual visits. And then certainly once they open up more for in-person visits, I highly recommend doing those to really get a feel for, hey, can I see myself at this campus? Because if you can't see yourself there, it needs to come off your list. It needs to come off your list quickly. Okay? So how does that sound? Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Yeah, because you don't want to waste a lot of time. You don't want your student wasting a lot of time with focusing on a college that they know is not a fit for them, and they don't even see themselves there for 4 years. What I share with my students is that every college on their list, I mean, we talked about this a little bit in part 2, every college that's on their list, even if it's 20 colleges on their list, I want all 20 of them to be their number one pick, so that if they get into no other college but that one, they're going to be excited to go. They're going to be excited to go. And so that's what you want when they are on that campus doing that visit. And if it just doesn't, have that oomph to it, it's time to take it off. It's time to take it off. And you would be surprised. So I had a student, and she had always wanted to go to this college since she was, knee high, wanted to go to this college. And all it took was a campus visit. And she was just like, it's just not me. It's just not me. That's what she said. It just wasn't her. She couldn't even connect with the students that she met. So if it's not a fit, definitely remove it from the list if they can't see themselves there. And, that's part of, in this particular step, what you really want to do is, think about, what colleges then need to be added based on those campus visits, which colleges need to be removed based on that campus visit. That's all part of that step number 8. Okay. So is this good? Am I doing good with this? All right. So the 9th step, and we got 10. So we're going to get to having all of them, and you can go back and listen to parts 1 and 2. So number 9 is going to be to actually go back through and redo the research. It's going to be redoing the research. Now, if you are joining me for the first time in terms of hearing about, developing this college list, in the first 2 parts of this, I actually went through those steps around what it means to research a college. And so you can definitely go back and listen to parts 1 and 2. They are short videos, so they're not that long. But let me tell you, you're going to get so much great insight in just going back to rewatch those. And when I talk about researching, it's not just looking at the pictures online. That's the low-hanging fruit. Anybody can do that. You want to really get to know those campuses. And so we mean looking at the course catalog. I had a student who, was interested in psychology, and that's great. But something, every college doesn't do psychology the same. And the professors in the colleges will drive, much of the culture, the type of research that's happening, the types of coursework, the types of prerequisites. Now, this young lady, not as strong, if you will, in math. And when she saw, some of the courses that she needed, it was just like, no, this ain't what I thought it would be. And it's like, yes, that's good. That's great to find out now before you go to a college, invest all of that time, money and energy and everything else that it takes, and then decide that, ooh, I don't want to do that, or that's not what I thought it would be. You can find some of that out beforehand and have those conversations with students, with faculty members. That's what it means to do the research, put in the research. So going back through that's step 9. That's step 9. And I know that's, several steps bundled, but that's okay, because we want to present this in a way that it makes it easier for you to process. Okay, this is what I'm doing in this step. And this kind of, step-by-step process, that's what we do all day, every day. Because what I find is that, our clients appreciate that. And it helps them to really take away some of that stress around it and manage their time better, even because they have, we're going to do this one step at a time. Okay. Now, again, if you're just joining me, I'm on number 10. I'm on number 10. I see you out there watching, and I so appreciate that. I so appreciate it. But I am on number 10 now. And if this is good, if you're getting some really good nuggets, I want you to just type it in the chat. Yes. You can type nugget in the chat because I know you're getting several here. But this last step I want to give you before you really finalize out the list, and that's going to be ranking that list. I want your team to actually go through and say, this is my number 1, this is my number 2, all the way down. And I'm going to tell you something. One of the reasons I like to do that is because I find that teenagers sometimes they can be a bit indecisive, and they don't want to make decisions sometimes. And they'll say, well, what do you think? And I take it right back to them. What do you think? No, I want you to state it first, because I want them to get comfortable with trusting their judgment. And if they say, I had one young lady, she just said, I really, I'm going to put this college at the bottom of my list because I just have it on the list because my mother likes this college. And I was like, whoa. So what I said to her is, something, how about if you just take it off? And, she paused for a moment. And you want to know what happened? She did take it off because it was not her number. It wasn't a number 1. It didn't pass that test. But, ask your team to rank them, because what that does is that helps you with thinking about the application deadlines. And you want them to be prepared for that, because those deadlines can be a bit unforgiving. And so there are going to be some colleges that they decide to apply to early. And that list ranking can help with determining that so that they can focus their time when it's prioritized. So it's not like they're just working on all these different essays and it's just like they're not even really interested in this college, but they're working on this essay and trying to write it and do all of this and that. It gets to be too much. And it just makes it that much more stressful than it has to be. And we don't need that. We don't need that. You don't want that for them. I don't want that for them. So that's number 10. Wow. This was a lot. This was a lot. And I've been hearing from you. I am going to get some slides so that for all of you who are visual, it'll have that additional support because I'm covering so much content in a short amount of time. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear your questions. So, I mean, if there's something that I went through too quickly that you want to go back over again, just type it in the chat. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. And I want to thank you for joining me and look forward to seeing you next time. Before you go, please grab one of our college prep toolkits because that's available to you. It's free and it's a great way to get these checklists and tools that I've been referencing as I talk about creating that right college list. So I look forward to talking with you next time and have an amazing day. Talk with you soon.